Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mia Swanson, and today is another installment in True Crime with a Glass of Wine. Today we are going to be talking about an extremely creepy and jarring case based in LA, and it is the mysterious death of Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old Canadian student traveling to destinations around the US for pleasure. She decided to visit LA and stay in the Hotel Cecil. The Hotel Cecil has its own checkered history. The Night Stalker actually stayed there, and it is reported that Elizabeth Short, who you probably know as the Black Dahlia, also stayed there. There have been a number of suicides. In fact, one person jumped from their death from a window of the Hotel Cecil and landed on a pedestrian, killing them as well. So not a place that I would stay the night just for, who am I kidding? Actually, I feel like I might stay the night there just because of the ghosts that might be there, but I don't know. Not if I was traveling from a different country by myself. Elisa was initially roomed hostel style with several other girls, but actually was moved to her own room because the girls reported bizarre behavior and they didn't feel comfortable with her in their room. So she ended up rooming by herself. This was the last leg of her trip. So she was used to visiting landmarks and, going on tours and everything, on her own or meeting people along the way. So that is what she did for the couple of days that she stayed at the Hotel Cecil. And then she went missing. She was last seen on January 26th, and the circumstances she was seen under were extremely strange. There is a video of her pressing a ton of buttons in an elevator, moving her hands. It's just very strange. I will insert the video while I'm talking. So she goes into the elevator, presses a bunch of buttons, steps in, steps out, seems like she's speaking to someone who can't be picked up on the camera, I think comes back in, and then finally steps out. The doors stay open for what seems like much longer than they should, and then she's gone. I will say that watching that video on replay has probably been one of the more jarring true crime videos that I've had to watch. There's just something so eerie about it, and obviously you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Fast forward a few weeks later, guests at the Hotel Cecil complained about low water pressure, a strange color and odor when they would get water. So people were really complaining about this, and finally a maintenance person went up onto the roof to check the water tanks. And when this person got to this one water tank, he lifted it up, and there was Elisa Lam, completely naked. Her clothes were in the water tank with her, but she had no clothes on, and the lid was shut over her. The LA coroner ruled it an accidental drowning, but when you hear the details of how you get onto the roof and who can get onto the roof, and it seems very strange to be ruled an accidental drowning. So here we go into those details. So first off, to get to the roof, you need to have certain credentials. You can't just walk out and climb up onto the roof. You would trip an alarm. No alarms were tripped or triggered. Also, you'd have to climb 10 feet into the tank lift up a 20-pound heavy lid, then get into the water, which it's just a vat of water, somehow tread water and close the 20-pound lid over your head. I mean, I swim like a normal person. I'm not like a amazing swimmer, but I don't think I could tread water and also lift a lid over myself. But apparently with the evidence that the coroner had and the police had, they ruled it an accidental death. There are a ton of theories for this case because it's so bizarre, and just the video and the circumstances she was found under are so strange. We don't know a lot. So I think that we should dive into the theories because they are extremely interesting. The first theory is the common sense theory, in my opinion, that Elisa was murdered by a staff member, somebody who had access to the roof, who could lure somebody up to the roof or whatever, and knew how to open these water towers and put her body into the, I mean, just as a lay person, I would never consider going to the roof and getting, I wouldn't, and if I guess maybe if you work in a building that like that, but because I've never worked in hospitality, I would never think to go up to the roof and go into a water tower. So I think that theory holds the most weight because it just, I mean, why were there no alarms sounded? Why was it so easy for her to get up onto the roof when it just doesn't seem like an easy thing for anybody? Another theory involves Elisa's mental health. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and so you could speculate that with her, previously I said that the girls that she was rooming with felt uncomfortable with the way she was acting and asked for her to be roomed on her own. So you could infer from that perhaps she was having some kind of bipolar episode, or something was happening, and perhaps with the video that we see with her just acting bizarre, that could have just been a bipolar episode, and somehow with this episode she maybe was hallucinating and somehow got herself up to the roof and into the water tower. Again, I can totally see how if you were having some kind of mental break or having some kind of episode where that bizarre behavior could, seem plausible. But as far as still, like, how did she lift it over her head and she got undressed and got into the water? Like, it just seems weird. The next theory that I saw that creeped me out to no end, could not sleep when I read about this one, was the theory of going to a different dimension. Hear me out. Seriously, hear me out. Apparently there is a Korean elevator game, and I do not know the instructions of this game. I don't want to. If you want to look that up, you go ahead and Google that. I don't want to know. But apparently you press a certain sequence of numbers on an elevator and the doors open, and there's supposed to be some girl that you see, and you lost me at girl that you can see. Like, no. Whew. So apparently there's some girl that you can see, and you're not supposed to look at the girl. If you look at the girl, then you'll be stuck in this different dimension for the rest of your life. Blah, blah. It's freaky deaky. And a lot of people say the sequence that you see in the video of her pressing the buttons was the sequence to this Korean multi-dimensional game. That scares me. I don't know why, but different dimensions freak me out, like skeeved. Okay, so that's a theory that people do believe in. And you know what, who am I to say that it could be true. I would not be shocked if there were different dimensions, I guess. Like supernatural different dimensions. I don't know, it scares me. And then the theory is supernatural in nature as well, and it's just that the Hotel Cecil has this extremely dark, twisted, and haunted history, and that somehow she became possessed, and whatever spirit possessed her convinced her to go onto the roof and kill herself. So the supernatural theories are out of the way, and then there is one more theory that's equally as creepy, and it's that the government created Elisa Lam, which I think could be kind of offensive because she's not created. She has family who love her and want to know really what happened and whatever. So I don't believe this theory at all, but here we are. So apparently there was a tuberculosis outbreak in Skid Row because the Hotel Cecil is located in downtown LA and Skid Row is right there. So apparently there was some kind of outbreak and the government wanted to cover it up. I guess testing or something was called Lam Elisa. And so what they did was create this murder story or like this bizarre death story to make it so when you go online and you search Lam Elisa, Elisa Lam's case comes up and nothing about this covered up tuberculosis outbreak among the homeless in LA. I feel like that's kind of offensive because she clearly is a real person with family, with loved ones, and I don't know. I don't think that holds much weight at all. My thing is, I don't know what to think. I guess I think that it's likely that she was met with foul play by somebody who worked for the hotel. I mean, it's just, it seems like maybe she was talking to somebody off camera and perhaps they were familiar with how the elevator cameras worked and knew like to stay out of screen. Or maybe she did have a bipolar episode. For me, the biggest thing to get over is her pulling such a heavy lid when you're just in deep water. I just don't see how, sorry, my arms don't go that high, how you can tread water and like I don't know, it just seems really hard for her to have put herself there. It's just a really interesting case. I will leave a bunch of links in the description box for you to research. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of content, there's a lot of articles. This is a very, very popular true crime case because it is so bizarre. I first heard about this case about 2 or 3 years ago, and the first video I watched on it, I could not sleep that night. There is something, I just think there's something amiss. I don't think it was an accidental death. My gut is just telling me there is something more. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, share, and if you have any suggestions or any cases that you'd like to hear me briefly go over while I drink a glass of wine, also let me know in the comments. This is a learning curve for me, so hopefully it just keeps getting better from here. You guys have a great rest of your week, and thank you for sitting down and watching.